time to time, do you believe? We judge people, well, let me rephrase that. People are judged by some on what they believe. Is that a practical way to be viewing others? Is that a way that would lead to good conclusions about an individual? Do you believe? What do you believe? There's an old adage that we're all told, at least I was, and I think most people were as they were growing up, action speaks louder than words. And it's amazing how, as we get older, certain things, the words become more important sometimes than the actions. How many times have I seen news reports of a victim of some kind of a violent crime or some accident? Something happened, some trauma to an individual, and a lot of times someone will be speaking about them, and the first thing they'll say is, "Oh, he was such a good Christian man." Does claiming a label make you a good person? What difference do these words really make when we use them? How real is your God? Is your God a superficial God? Is your entire belief system a superficial belief system? You see, we are programmed to look and to view at things in a certain way based upon our culture, when and where we were born. It is part of the programming that we go through from birth. We are born, and at the moment we are born, we are totally free. And immediately that freedom starts being snatched away from us. From laws made by governments, to religion, human definitions of what a God may or may not approve of, family, culture, all those things start programming us. You may not be given a justification. As young people, we questioned everything. And unless we were slapped down for our questioning, we questioned into maybe early adulthood. But all too often, the adults can't answer the questions, so they shut you up. Why? Why this? Why that? Why? We're curious. We want to know. But if there's no answer, the person you're asking to is unable to give a qualified answer to your question, it's easy to dismiss the question. That's the easiest way to deal with it. Why? Why do you believe the things you believe? Do you dare question? You see, your life is intentional. If you say that someone's down on their luck and they're struggling to put food on the table, and you tell them that their life is intentional and that somehow, some way they chose that life, you're not going to get a happy response. In fact, you might even get punched in the face for making such a statement. Who in their right mind wants to live under a bridge? Who in their right mind wants to be hungry? Who in their right mind wants to be broke? How dare you make such a suggestion? Who wants legal problems? Who wants to have relationship problems? Who wants to go through a divorce? Regardless of how people react to this reality, it's still a reality. Your life is intentional. But that's a hard pill to swallow. You have to remember that once a person makes a certain decision, that the consequences of that decision will begin to appear. The person becomes very, very creative in making up all sorts of excuses, justifications, and reasons to blame others for what happened. We all have this inner genius in us, don't we? In our country, all the woes that we suffer as a nation, as a people, which in reality are suffered by all humans. It's been our history as a human species. We don't want to take responsibility. It's because prayer was taken out of school. It was because same-sex marriage is legal. There's always an excuse. It's never our fault. It's because they allowed this conduct that brought this consequence on all of us. You hear it all the time. You hear it constantly. It's not our problem. We have a justification for these woes that are suffered. I am not the one that needs to change. I'm in the right. You're in the wrong. You need to change. It's always something else. It's always someone else that's made the bad decision. You're not part of it. You're not responsible. None of us, and none of these things we're talking about, as painful and unpleasant as it may be on many levels, takes away from the fact that our lives are intentional. Our internal world is the cause of our external world. Our internal world is the cause of our external world. Do you understand that? What's going on here creates this. As one philosophical comedian brought very clearly to our attention in one of his routines, all these politicians are from us. They're a product of us. We are the problem. We can say, oh, it's Obama's fault. It's Trump's fault. Ultimately, the responsibility comes back to us. This explains how big your house is, or whether you're renting or owning. It's also the cause of the kind of car you drive, or the means of transportation you have. Your internal world explains how much money you make, how much money you've got in the bank, how much respect people give you. Your internal self, you are the cause of what happens to you. What kind of education do you have? It all comes back to that programming, what you believe about yourself, what you believe about life. It all comes back to within. As I've stated in early talks regarding this programming and having been born for success, the kingdom of God is within you. This is a very touchy issue for a lot of people, because once we all agree that our lives are intentional because of our internal world producing our external results, it becomes obvious that somewhere down the line, some people bad choice. Now let's be real. Through life, as we grow and mature, we're going to make mistakes. We are going to make bad decisions. But something gets us in this trap because if it's never our fault, if it's always a result of something that happened out here, then we never change so that we get a different result. Because it's not on us. That's the way we view it. It's not on us. It's not my fault. It's because they. It's because them. It's because this group. It's because of this law. It's because of something else. So we never look in the mirror and make adjustments so we can change our world. We don't like to be wrong. Nobody likes to be wrong. We don't like to be made to feel that we're being blamed for our errors, our failures, and our bad decisions. That's part of being human. That's part of human nature. It's to be expected, and it's definitely a big blow to the ego, which is our greatest weakness, our greatest fault, that ego, because we feel it all radiates around us. It's about me, it's about my family, it's about my school, it's about my town, it's about my state, it's about my country, it's about the human race and the entire universe. It's about us, it's about me. Regardless of all that, to get that car, you had to make a choice. To get that job, which produces a certain income, which affords you a certain lifestyle, you had to make a choice. And actually, throughout your entire life, you have made constant choices. To get that degree, you drop out of school, whichever one, you make choices. All these are internal, and they can be traced back to your values, to what you believe. And going back to the belief, where did you get those beliefs? They were programmed in you at some point early in your life, from birth, from your community, from your family, from a church, from a government. You were programmed. These values are not set by heaven to you. They're not inherited from somebody else. They're not something that just was dropped into your lap. They're choices. Just as people can choose certain values which lead to a certain lifestyle and certain life results, others can choose other values which produce different results. Again, this is not welcome news to most people. People do not like to be confronted face to face with this reality, that everything in our lives are choices. I chose to get up at 7 a.m. I chose to eat this for breakfast. I chose to wear these clothes. I chose to shave or not shave. I chose. Don't get me wrong, sometimes your responses to whatever the world brings your way are repeated so frequently that you don't even think about it. They're automatic. Don't assume that just because you can predictably respond a certain way when you detect certain things, that this is somehow automatic behavior each time you chose to react a certain way. Don't fool yourself into thinking that you have absolutely no choice when you take certain actions. You allowed preconceived notions, you allowed culture, you allowed some religious beliefs, you allowed some government to dictate to you and program you to view, to respond, to act in a certain way. All these habits actually spring from choices. It takes a while to develop a new habit. In fact, according to some estimates, picking up a new habit or breaking one can take anywhere from 21 days to 60 days. That's work. That's not casual behavior. That is work. You have to repeat the same pattern before you develop or you break the habit. What are you doing prior to this? You're choosing to take those actions. These are choices. Do I want a different life? Do I want people to see me in a different light? Do I want a better car? What do I want? My choices are going to bring those results. Since you're making choices all the time to produce certain results and consequences, then of course your life is intentional. You may not accept it. It may be uncomfortable for you to believe that. It's definitely not a conventional truth, but it's still the truth. And you need to embrace that if you really want what you say you want. Instead of you living your life on autopilot because you were programmed a certain way to think and respond a certain way, to act a certain way, to do things in a certain way, wrap your arms around the concept of intentionality with intent. That doesn't mean you cannot let the universe guide you. It doesn't mean you have to overplan your life. It doesn't mean you have to set lofty goals. It simply means that you have to start making better choices because we all make these choices. Master your life or author your life by being as intentional as you can about what you choose to think. This is the bedrock of mentalism. That's how you edit your reality. That's how you go from thinking about a certain outcome to actually seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling that outcome. In other words, you turn ideas into reality. You're not just hoping and wishing. You're not just thinking it would be nice if certain things existed. You're actually taking action. When I was a young teen, and I would note my father out here, we lived basically paycheck to paycheck. We lived in frame homes. We lived in less than middle class. We weren't starving, but it was always a struggle. I saw these things, not just with my family, but throughout my town that I lived in, that you had people at all levels. This person over here had an abundance, and they lived a certain way, drove certain cars. These people over here struggled by. This dramatic difference in lifestyles. And it concerned me. Why? Back in those days, people like Howard Hughes was alive. My favorite possession, I've told people, was my library card. I read a lot of biographies, autobiographies, because I wanted to know why. Why does this person fit over here in such a way, and this person struggles so much? Why? What makes the difference? It was all here. It was the way they viewed things. It was the intention, the decision-making, the choices they made. It wasn't because they won the lottery. It wasn't because they inherited a fortune. Because people that win the lottery lose it within 2 to 5 years. People that inherit big money, same way, they can lose it rapidly. So I wanted to know. I began to see things, and that's why I'm presenting this material now, because you were born to succeed. That's why Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you, because it's here. When nothing is your fault, when everything is out there, And I've heard it. There's always a cop-out. I'm not smart enough. I'm not educated enough. I'm not this, I'm not that. Or it's mom's fault, it's dad's fault, it's the way I was raised. It's on and on and on to infinity, the excuses to pass the buck. You can raise yourself up, you can lift yourself up because you were born with what you need inside. If it's in you. Doesn't mean you don't learn from other people, doesn't mean you don't learn from other experiences. Most of what I learned came from reading books. So you make a choice. Growing up in a Christian household like I did, one of the scriptures in Corinthians that was drilled into my head as a young man was something about bad association spoils useful habits. Your association affects the outcome. And I learned that your association is not just the people you choose to associate with, but it is what you take in from the material you read, from the TV shows you watch. How do you spend your time? Do you spend your time to improve your condition? And improving your condition by learning? Many people have compared the mind to a computer. You don't get anything out of it that you don't put into it. That's why we say you've been programmed. I'm trying to help you now to learn how to reprogram your mind for success, how to reprogram that mind for success. Are you allowing all these outside influences to affect your outcome because of the way you choose to believe these things, because of the way you choose to react? Are you a reactionary person? Are you a person of action? Taking and making proper choices takes a person of action. Being on autopilot with your actions and reactions means that someone has programmed you. You're not giving thought. You're just taking what somebody programmed into you somewhere in your life. Dare to question. Replace fear of the unknown with curiosity. My book is Practical Mentalism. You can get it on the website. I'm putting it in PDF form if you want to get it and read it on your Kindle or whatever. The other book is Born to Succeed. You can also get it on the website, abnormalchurch.org, IOCCHURCH.org. And I'll be putting these videos out frequently. You were born to succeed. The kingdom of God is within you. However you want to define that kingdom of God doesn't matter. What it boils down to is it's here. You've got it. You've got to believe that to draw from it. You can be mentored. You can learn from others. But the person that wants to hold you back because they've been programmed and they want to judge you because of what they believe. They look at you and say, do you believe? Your question should be, believe in what? I believe I can. I believe the kingdom of God is within me. I believe I was born for success. Thank you all for listening. IOCCHURCH.org. This is Dr. Graham. Have a wonderful day.